So, thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Marvel Legends Avengers Build-A-Figure Cole Obsidian Wave Black Knight figure. Today, I'll be reviewing this figure in 6 categories: accessories, articulation, design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once all scores are totaled, I'll be giving you my opinion if this figure is a pass or a purchase. So let's take a look at what the Black Knight actually comes with. So he comes with 1 sword, 3 head sculpts, and 1 cape. Not a hell of a lot when it comes to the terms of accessories. However, these are the 3 that I really want to focus on. But before getting to them, let's start with this. So for the blade, you have a handle that's done in gold, completed with a matte finish blade, which looks pretty good. It's just that it's a very soft plastic. Mine is sort of warped, and just how soft this is, you can boil it and freeze it. And I just see it just bending over time, again and again. So you get a cape that's detachable. It has a peg hole, which pegs in the back. And you have the 2 lapels, which sort of drape over his shoulder. It's very pliable. And that's it. Now to the accessories that I really wanted to take a look at. The head sculpts. Boy, do I like having an assortment of head sculpts. Let's see if I can turn the light up on this. So with this particular figure, let me explain the importance of the 3 head sculpts that we actually received. So the first one seems to be a very angry expression with a shortened helmet, open faceplate. The second, might as well use this, and this was not the one I was going to use as the second, is more of an expressionless tone. Again, open faceplate. And you have these, should I call them, they look like dragon ears almost. Very soft, very pliable. And then you have the third head sculpt, the face and eyes fully covered with an eagle up top. It's done in appears to be a matted, but some areas seem to be more, it's not metallic, a matted blue, as well as a gold finish throughout on the eagle and certain places on the faceplate. Now, here is the importance of all 3 of these face sculpts. So, reason number 1, reason number 2, and if I could find my third one, that would be reason number 3. So each head sculpt give this figure its own identity. Throw in a few accessories that you have laying around from other figures and it looks like a completely new character. The one accessory that I would have liked to seen that is not incorporated would be a shield. Aside from the shield, the 3 head sculpts makes me satisfied what I receive in accessories. Extra weapons would have been great, but hey, we're dealing with a Marvel Legends. We're not dealing with a Mezco's figure here. So for accessories, I'm going to give this figure a surprising 8 out of 10. So for articulation, this particular head sculpt is able to look all the way back, or all the way up, excuse me. That is great range of movement. It's able to look all the way down. It's able to turn side to side. You do get a decent amount of pivot and a little bit of back and forth. This head sculpt is barely able to look up any. It's able to look down. It's able to turn side to side. No pivot, well, very little amount of pivot. And you do get some back and forth movement. Not a lot. And this head has the same range of movement as the first, so we're going to move on. The arms are able to, oh, this is tight. Whoa. So after being taken by surprise for the lack of movement, I actually went off camera to see if I can get some added range, and I'm not sure if mine is simply stiffed. But this is all that I can get as far as the arm extending out. The arm is able to rotate a full 360. You get an upper bicep cut here and swivel. There is rotation. Well, I guess there is, no, actually it's not. So the elbows are double jointed, bending in about that much. The wrist is able to hinge up and down, side to side, as well as turn. So with the torso, it's able to move back thus far, forward thus far, no side to side. You do get a cut at the waist. I really like the torsos that are actually two pieces. This one is not. The leg is able to extend very far forward, a decent amount backwards. Double jointed knees, bend in about that far. You get twists at the upper hip. You get a cut at the thigh. The foot is able to move way up, way down, and excellent pivot. And I think if it's one thing that you got to give to Marvel Legends, their figures are pretty good. They may have the best foot articulation in the business, and the legs are able to extend about that far out. So more than the arm being able to extend out this much, if I can have any added articulation on the figure, it would actually be butterfly joints, which would help him kind of reach for the sword here. It would work much better. So for articulation, I'm going to give this figure an 8 out of 10. So I'm not wildly familiar with the Black Knight, so I had to jump online, for some inspiration to watch how his costume have changed over the decades. And here are a few versions of the Black Knight. So what it appears is that Hasbro has taken elements from a few versions of the Black Knight and incorporated it with this one figure, which makes me like it even more. So for design, I'm going to give the Black Knight an 8 out of 10. So is Black Knight essential to your collection? I suppose I have to view that through two separate lenses. The first lens would be, how iconic is he? And simply to put it, he's just not an iconic character. From what I can gather, he had some run-ins with the Avengers, or maybe was an Avenger at some point, and perhaps had some sort of affiliation with Alpha Flight. Outside of that, he's not really connected to a team, villain, or a storyline that would gather him great importance. The second lens to view him is that he comes with a crucial part to build Cole Obsidian. I'm not a big collector of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the exception of Iron Man. So I have really no desire to build Cole Obsidian. But for those that do, you will need to purchase this figure in order to get the parts, unless you go shopping on eBay to pick it up. Considering that Avengers was a huge movie, I would think most collectors would want to build Cole Obsidian. I think I'm the minority with that. So with that said, I'm going to give this figure a 6 for being essential to your collection. So for functionality, all parts seem to work. The cape has a peg which plugs directly into the back. This part is, well, the entire cape more so is very posable, so it drapes over. The shoulder's pretty good snug fit there. Here, the sword is able to be utilized and actually held within a strap. The pockets, however, are not functional. They do not open and or close. Each head scope fits on easily. Without the huge tin can, you do get good articulation within each head scope itself. The piece here in the front, as well as the cape, is not posable, meaning that it won't stay in a particular pose once it's placed there. So for overall functionality, I'm going to give this figure a 7 out of 10. So Black Knight comes in priced at $20. He should be in most all local retailers, so you should be able to find him without having to pay for shipping. I know originally I was having a difficult time finding this figure, so it's probably the hardest figures to pick up out of the wave. I started to pay $30+ for it on eBay, but I continued to wait and I was able to find it in a store for $20. So the sell for me with this figure are the 3 different head sculpts. I really like each one. And to me, it makes the figure looks like 3 different characters. The drawback to this figure would be accessories. Other than the blade, it doesn't come with anything else unless you want to count the cape, which can be removed. Another strong selling point would be for individuals who may be into other lines that use medieval type of figures, because you can incorporate this guy into other lines. And anytime that you can take one action figure from one particular line and incorporate him somewhere else is always a plus for me. So is he a pass or purchase? For me, absolutely a purchase. I currently have 3. I don't know where the other one is, but this figure I will totally army build. So expect me to pick up a few more as I go out. So for pricing, I'm giving the Black Knight a 10 out of 10. That would give this figure an overall clip score of 47. Here's Black Knight next to Marvel Legends Green Goblin. And here he is next to Masters of the Universe Teela. So I have some reviews that I want to do coming up. I have a few hot toys to review, some Storm collectibles, some Marvel Legends. If there are any particular figures that you want me to jump to, just let me know in the comment section. And again, thank you for tuning in to Mr. Clip's Toy Shop. I'll see you during the next review.